So I heard you like MMOs. Let's talk a little bit about Aion, a Korean MMO. I'm going to show it to you in a second, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a review of what's going on. This isn't going to be a full review because I'm not level cap in this version of the game yet. And I did kind of want to wait until I was level cap and could really give a thorough review for the channel and for people who might be interested in some other MMOs. But I really wanted to make this video right now because there's an event going on that if you're looking to get into the game will really help you, gives you a bunch of gear, and this is a very gear intensive game, so it will really help you push up through some of the harder levels. So that means that this video needs to be made now. I'm going to give you my impressions of what's going on right now. So this is something less than a full review, but more than a first impressions because I have played the game before and I'm playing it again and I'm fairly high level, so it's not like my impression of the first 20 levels. I'm level 51 out of 65 now. Old level cap was like 50 or 55. So keep all of that in mind as you see this. Let's take a look at the game real quick. I'm going to talk about some of its visuals, some of the gameplay, questing, and then I will talk about the event a little bit. Right now there is an event that if you're looking to get into it, now is probably the time to get into it. So here it is. This is Aion. This is a Korean MMO that was released 5 or 6 years ago on a standard sub. You buy the game and you pay a subscription sort of monetization strategy, and I will talk about monetization towards the end of the video. Right now it's free to play, and if you're playing in the West, it's totally free. You don't have to buy anything to unlock different things. Everything that you buy is optional, and you can make multiple characters. If you're playing in Europe, I think you can only make 2 characters, and you can't like buy and sell stuff on the auction house unless you buy like a gold pack. So the European version of the game and the North American version of the game are pretty different, and if you're playing the Korean version of the game, you're probably like 3 patches ahead, and this video will be very outdated anyway. So it's a Korean game. Now it's free to play. It used to be a sub model. It's about 5 or 6 years old now. The graphics still hold up to me. I think it still looks very nice. But it doesn't look as good as like a game that came out last year or 2 years ago. So Elder Scrolls Online, I think, still is one of the best looking MMOs that you could play right now. But this one still looks good, and what I like about it is that the aesthetic, I feel like, really holds up. This is a zone that's pretty old, and so it does look about 6 years old, but at the same time, the aesthetic's really good. The lighting effects are good. The way the buildings look is really good. The sort of the art that's gone into it, I think, really holds up. So keep that in mind. I kind of feel the same way about some other older games, like World of Warcraft. I think the art holds up in a lot of the older zones. Even though they look old, they still look good. So keep that in mind. This game is your standard hotkey style MMO. There is tab targeting, so it's not like an aim thing. So I click on a mob, and that selects it, and then I press my skills, and it casts spells. There is a chain system, so certain spells will chain into other spells, which is an interesting effect and kind of fun, and you can customize that. So you have a big list of skills. There's a lot of skills, as you guys can see on my UI. There's a lot of skills. There's a lot of passive skills, and then there's a bunch of chains, and I haven't even unlocked all the chains, but the chains are all there. And then there's also a bunch of things that'll activate, like when you get stunned, you may have a skill that will undo the stun. You can just click it in the field. So it's a pretty active feeling game. I like it as far as this hotkey tab style goes. I think it's a good feel. If you like the feel of maybe World of Warcraft, say Wrath of the Lich King era, where there were still lots of spells in the game, they've started to like pull some of the spells out of the game. If you like to have a lot of skills on your bars, then and a lot of things at your disposal to do, then this is a good game. This is by the way, I'm showing the PvE, and this is a cool looking swamp area. I'm showing the PvE right now, but this game is actually a very intensive PvP game. PvP is a really big thing, and most of the content is built around PvP, or this concept of PvPvE. So there are PvP instances that have PvE content in them. It's a very cool sort of combination of elements, and I think it works for the most part. it's just going to be different. So if you check it out and get up to a higher level, you'll find that like it's a little bit different than probably what you're used to with most PvE style MMOs, where then they have like designated PvP like battlegrounds or areas. This one does have that, but it's kind of changed a little bit over the years, and I'll talk about that in just a second. So let me show you another thing about this particular game. I'm going to use a port scroll, which they do give you some of these. You can also return to a bind point. When you die, rather than like running back to your corpse or something, you go back to your bind point. You don't spawn at the beginning of the zone like in EQ. You go back to wherever you bound yourself, and then you have to run back to where you were before. You do lose, you do lose experience bonuses and stuff when you die, but it's not a severe death penalty other than you're in a weird place. So here's another zone. This is Morheim Fortress, and let me show you one of the things about this game that really makes it interesting. I have wings and I could fly. I'm like an angel. So in a lot of zones you can fly, and all the big PvP zones you can fly. This game does have flying combat, so if I'm flying, I can use all of my spells. And if you're in a zone that doesn't have flying, you can actually press the spacebar and glide, and my little bars will turn yellow here. That will help you get to interesting places. So the flying system in this I actually really like. It's one of the games that I feel like has actually done flying right. Unlike, say, World of Warcraft, where you're flying over content and then dropping down and doing something. In this game, the content is up in the air when you have flying, and then otherwise you don't really have flying available, but you could still glide and do some other things to get around a zone. It feels very dynamic. Let me go ahead and I'm going to fly up here to this big portal, because this is going to take us out into the abyss. The way the world is constructed, if I zoom out here, there's some interesting lore. But the world, if you could see here, it's like you're on the inside edge of a world. So you're down here, or you're up here, and you're down here, and then the outside is where like another PvE faction is, and in the abyss in the middle, that's where all the big PvP zones are at. So let me go ahead and show you this PvP zone. This is one of the lower level ones, and I'm actually too high a level for this because I'm level 51. And this is like the first big PvP zone. It's for like characters in their late 20s. Now, when I played this game 4 or 5 years ago, this zone was much more active than it is now. But if I look, here's the abyss. It's got a bunch of, you can die by falling. If you run out of flight time, you can die. It takes some time to get across from one area to the next, so you kind of have to use these little magical bridges. So you fly through these, they recharge your flight time. Your flight time is limited, which I think adds a cool dimension to the game as far as flying goes, is that you have like a limited resource when it comes to flying. So as I leave that, you could see, this sun-like thing in the middle, and we could fly from island to island, and there will be PvP objectives on some of these islands. I'm going to land before I run out of flight time. And show you the map. So over here, there's a fortress, and it'll show who's holding it. Balar, that's a PvE faction. The PvE faction will actually come in and take the PvP objectives, and this one's also held by Balar. So there's 2 fortresses in this particular area. There's several levels of the abyss that you can go to, and then there's another whole set of zones. These are all the new in-game zones that were added more recently in, I think, the 4.0 patch. So this is like the large-scale PvP area where you're taking really big objectives with lots of people. So large-scale PvP is your thing. That still exists. However, I'm going to get to now some of the odd things of the game. So I'm playing on a North American server. A while back, they created what's called a FastTrack server. I am not on the FastTrack server right now. The FastTrack server is going to be all those PvE zones like the one I showed you. And you can play on a regular server, and you can move to the FastTrack server. You can go back and forth however you need to. Capital cities are all in the regular servers, and you can go to the FastTrack servers to do the PvE zones and do dungeons in them. Here's the thing about the FastTrack server. The FastTrack server gives you a big sort of boost in XP. I'm going to go ahead and teleport to my capital city. I am playing Asmodean. There's 2 factions. two player factions, Asmodean and Ilios. Ilios are pretty boys. Asmodeans have like a tail and a mane. I prefer the Asmodean faction. I think the zones look much cooler, and I think in general I like the aesthetic. But the aesthetic's good for both. If you want to look like a normal person, you'd play Ilios. If you don't care that much about it, you play Asmodean. Anyway, so again, I'm on the normal server. If I go to the FastTrack server, it puts me in basically all of the servers have all the players go to one FastTrack server if you're under the level cap. So everybody under the level cap goes to one server. And that means there's a lot more people concentrated in an area that you could group up with, to do the group quests, to do the dungeons with, and that's pretty good, but there are some downsides. And it gives you a big bonus to the XP. Big bonus to the XP. So like 50%. So let me go ahead, I'll go out to the other side, I'll show you another zone. I think someone just invited me to a Legion or something. I could quit it later. Guilds are not the biggest thing in this game. You don't have to be in a guild to play this game, but it helps. So apparently I am in a guild. Now, woo! So here's another like kind of crystalline, icy area. I'm on the FastTrack server. So the FastTrack server gives you like a 50% XP buff, and if I choose, I can just go back to the standard server whenever I want, and it'll just put me back there. And the standard server gives you normal XP, and then it's basically, if you're under level cap, it's just deserted now. So the downside of the FastTrack server, you say the plus side would be like you get lots of XP. Downside is some of the facelessness. Because you're playing with people from other servers, there's not a lot of reputation gain or lost in there. Not that everyone really cares about that, but you know, you won't be seeing the same people over and over again, and you won't be playing with people that are from your server that you really care about. That's just sort of the nature of the beast, I guess, when it comes to the FastTrack server. The other thing about the FastTrack server is there's no PvP. It's just in the PvE zones. And they've also removed a feature from the FastTrack servers that was one of the things that I really loved when I first started playing this game, but it's not a big deal in the game anymore, which is rifting. What used to happen is in these PvE zones that are factional, because each faction has their own PvE zones. So, you know, the Ilios have their PvE zones, and Asmodeans have their PvE zones. These rifts would open up that would let you go to the other PvE zones and go fight people. So the rifts would open up into, into this zone, Belislan, and then you'd have a bunch of Ilios running around, and you'd have to go fight them and kill them, or because they'd be trying to gank you, which to me was really, really fun earlier in the game. But the FastTrack server just disabled that, so it's just about, level as quick as you can. Don't worry about the PvP stuff. Just try to level. And some people like that. I don't like that. I like, if it's a PvP game, I like the PvP to always have a dangerous feel to it. Another thing they did which kind of made me quit the game the first time around, they really penalized rifting. So if you went through a rift into the other zone, you got these huge penalties to everything, so that it made it much harder to do that PvP. I think they've removed some of those penalties since then, but now there's this FastTrack server with no PvP. And when the little portals do open up, no one really goes through them because everyone's on the FastTrack server. I showed you the Abyss before. No one hangs out in the Abyss anymore. When I first played the game, everyone around level 30 was out in the Abyss doing quests and doing PvP because there was a lot of XP for that. That is not the case anymore. Now, those pieces of content are now basically dead because of the FastTrack server. So there's the big downside of it. Overall, I think I don't like the FastTrack server for that reason. I'm actually not upset about the XP buff because, like I said, this game is very brutal to level in, and I think especially beginning players need a little bit more help because of that. So I'm not anti the XP buff. It's mostly just that I really don't like that the FastTrack server removed a bunch of what I would consider core critical components of the game. since I'm seeing some event staff here, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the event. I'll show you some character creation and why now is a really good time to possibly get into this game. If you've been thinking about playing Aion or you've heard about it, now might be a good time to at least try it out. Like I said, it is free to play, and I will talk about the monetization strategy shortly. So click on the event staff. This person just gives me a quest that includes, you know, it's to do a dungeon, and then it will give me a fabled item, which is a really good item. And in this case, it's just going to give me some gear. So I just turn it in, and it's going to give me some new wings. Wings are like something that you can, you know, just put on. They're like another item. It gives me a mount, and it gives me some shoes. I'm going to select the Brogans because I'm a cleric. And same thing here. It's going to give me some gloves. I'm just going to select the cleric ones. And if you look, it'll automatically show you a comparison of your item that you're getting with the item that you have on. Obviously, the item that I'm getting is not as good as the item I have on. So I'm probably not going to do anything other than either disenchant it or sell it. Same thing, it's just going to give me a weapon. I'm going to select a level 51 staff here. It's finally, I'm getting weapons that have a little bit close to the attack on my one-hander. So that's the event. It gives you a lot of free stuff, but there's an even better set of gear that you can get at level 1, and so I'm going to go ahead and show that to you along with the character creation stuff. So I'm going to go to characters. It's going to log me out. I can sit around and admire my character wearing a ball gown that's somehow chainmail. That's kind of one of the eccentricities of this game. Part of the aesthetic is some weird looking stuff. I'm going to create a character. Obviously I have to do Asmodeans. I'm going to select something maybe I haven't done, like Technist. And because I play on an ultra widescreen monitor, it kind of cuts off the view in this mode, but otherwise it's okay. You can really customize your character if that's something you're into. There's a lot of customization. You can also just do some presets. I'm going to do like a, there you go. Now I can actually see the character. There is a class that can basically run around in a mech. So you can click through some presets that you like and find one you like. Young. There's even weird. You can make really weird looking characters in this game. So if your immersion's broke by having weird looking characters, that is what you will get in this game. It will be a problem. I'm just going to click maybe this one. Start with this one. Okay. And you could preview it by, you know, having any kind of sets of armor that are common in the game, including some mechs if you're going to play the mech class. Every character starts as like a base class, and then you decide your class at level 10. Into whatever division, so that all that information is provided to you when you're making your character. I'm going to customize face. You can actually click through like face presets if you want and find one you like. You can change basically how old the character looks with this, and you can even change the skin color. You can drag it around anywhere you want. You can make it, I can make him like the Incredible Hulk here if I want, or I can make him totally just like white as I want. Same thing with eye color. You can make him have like black eyes, red eyes, whatever you want. Same thing with lip color. You can do whatever you want. So I'm going to make him red-eyed and white. Yeah, hey pups. Okay. Same thing. Now hair. So hair, you could do like whatever you want. You can do wacky hairstyles, fun hairstyles, cool hairstyles. Let's do this like nice little like Goku hairstyle, and we can make it nice bright yellow if we want to. Whatever color you want to make it, you can make it. So there's a ton of customization options. Then in the details, you can really change a lot of stuff. You can, you know, I'm just gonna quickly adjust some of these to really make it a little different. So you could get an extremely unique character, which is really cool in this game. I can make him very beady-eyed, or, you know, whatever I want to make him. There we go. You know, on down the line, anything that you want to make, you can give him a bigger nose, bigger cheeks. You can make his lips bigger or smaller, whatever you want to do. You can basically do whatever. So I'm just gonna keep that. Same thing with a body. You can make him really tall, really short. You can make his head bigger, smaller. You can make his neck longer, bigger, shorter, whatever you want to do. And it's all there. So I can make the shoulders really ugly wide, or I can make them, normal. You can make him look like a bodybuilder or like auto mode, whatever you want to do. You could shrink his waist, pump it up, give him some legs, like he doesn't skip leg day. You can give him longer legs, give him big feet, because you know what to say about guys with big feet, give him big hands, and there you have, now you have like a character. I don't care about this. I'm just gonna oh, I have to create a name. You can even create voices too. You can do like tough. There you go. Let's call him Brofist. Let's check that name. You can use that name. All right, Brofist is going to be created. Okay, so let's start the game. You will need a character pin. I am going to actually not show you my character pin. Hey, gotta stay secure, right? So this is going to start you at level 1. There's going to be a big cutscene. I'm just going to skip that cutscene. And here you go. Here's the starting zone. We're on the FastTrack server. You can see there's lots of people. Unfortunately, you do have to rebind everything for every single character. That's the way it is. Because of the event that's going on at the beginning, there's going to be some sheep. And there's also going to be some sheep standing in the capital city. They're just standing around dancing, as you can see. This is basically the cheat mode of this. You go talk to this friendly Ayas here, these sheep guys, and they give you a bag. So we accept that. We turn the quest in by saying sure. We get a bag. And then this person will also give you candy that will transform you into a sheep. I never use that because I like to look like, my character. This game also does have click to move if you want to do that. I actually hate click to move, so I turn it off. There's a lot of options for the UI. You can actually put the UI in several different places depending on where you want it. So I like the map. I kind of like it WoW style, so I put the map up here. I put the character up here. You could change all that. But anyway, let's go ahead and look in our bag. Fuzzball support bundle. We're going to click it. We're going to open it. Out pop a bunch of things. There's a bird brain box. Let's see what's in that. It's going to be a hat. Let's do a rooster hat. Okay. Put that on, and look at that, and now I am a rooster. Lovely. Okay. There's some other ones, some plastic surgery boxes. That's if you want to change your character. You open this up, and there's some orange weapons. Orange are very good quality items, and these are actually items that are basically max level items that they're giving you at level 1, which is going to make you just destroy everything. I'm going to select the pistol because I'm going to make this person maybe a gunner at level 10, and I want to actually use the weapon right now. Some weapons you can equip to later, so just right click it, and on it goes onto my character. There's a box that you can only open at 65. Contains a lot of good gear. So if you can level all the way up to 65 in 1 month, which is totally possible if you're playing, especially with all the armor to help you. Leather armor, we're going to do leather armor because we're doing a gunner and we want to wear the leather armor now. Open up the leather armor chest, and bam, we get a full set of orange leather armor that we could put on. And it looks kind of like a silver tuxedo on a male character, and it looks like a ball gown on a female character. So now that we have that gear on, let's kill something. Let's kill that Sparky. Let's just press a button. One shot. Okay, that is going to make you incredibly powerful, especially at the lower levels, to do whatever you want to do. Some people are not super happy about that, but I'm okay with it, and the reason is because this game is very, very brutal to level with. At least this will help you get up to the levels of the game where it actually becomes challenging and difficult. That's going to be above level 50, which is where the end game really starts to begin. So I guess I'm okay with this event, but I want to at least clue people into it that this is the event that's going on. People are calling it the sheep event. Gives you a bunch of free, amazing gear that you can use at level 1 to make this entire process much, much much easier for you. Let me go ahead and talk about the monetization part of it while I am here, because as a free-to-play game, you need to be aware of how monetization works. You can open up the marketplace right from inside your browser. This is the North American version, and this works on InCoin. The EU version works on like Gold Pack or something like that. There's a lot of cosmetic items that are for sale, but there's also things that aren't cosmetic. So the worry is it pay to win? Well, there are items that you can buy that increase the XP gain that you get. So that is a possible pay to win scenario because you are increasing the amount of XP that you get. There is also under boost, there's an AP boost. AP is your Abyss points. That's like your PvP points. That's also possible pay to win. The Coliseum, boost pack contains a bunch of these to help you get more PvP points. There's also things that are designed to help you save Kenna that'll make things cost less. That's possible pay to win. There's boosts to your gathering to help you gather stuff. It's not as much pay to win. There's scrolls that give you like running speed increase and things like that. They're not necessarily pay to win, but it's up to you. And transformation is just makes you look different. Style, that's all the aesthetic change things. There is, under convenience, you can summon like vendors. That's not, to me, really pay to win. You can buy coins that help you get more bag space, but you can also buy bag space with Kenna. Most of this stuff you can also buy with in-game currency with your Kenna. You don't have to pay money for it, but you can. So the cube and warehouse expansion, you can totally buy those with real money. And I think actually for the warehouse expansion, some of it you have to buy with real money. Pets, those don't have any effect. Some of them have bags, which is convenient. You can buy housing decor. There is player housing in this game. I don't really mess with the player housing, but a lot of people do. In fact, I remember a couple years ago, me and my brother-in-law were playing, and we were like decorating our apartments and like putting on tuxedos, and we're like, is this game for girls? And there's actually a lot of women who play this game in the North American server, so just be aware of that. You can buy mounts. You could also get mounts in game, so that's not that big a deal. The thing that really I think is a possible pay to win more than anything else is the fact that you can buy enchantment stones. The way this game works is that once you get a piece of gear, you're actually not done. And I actually like the way this particular element works. So if you're at a high level, you get a new piece of gear, you're not done. You have to enchant it. You don't enchant it with particular things like a stat. You use an enchantment stone, and it raises certain stats automatically for you to really just make the gear overall better. Each time you use an enchantment stone, it raises the level of the item by 1. Or if the enchantment stone fails, and everything can fail in this game, then it lowers the level by 1 until you get to level 10. Once you get to level 10, any failure brings everything back down to level 10. Once you get to like above level 10, level 12 on an item, it brings it back down to level 10 when it fails, which can be very frustrating. So if you go to the marketplace and you're buying the enchantment stones and you're buying the supplements to increase this enchantment, that could be possibly pay to win. So you're paying for those enchantment stones that are going to really make your gear better. You're paying for the supplements, which are going to give you a higher chance of success. That is a possible pay to win, but you can't get the gear from the store. So you have to go out and get the gear in a group through PvP or through PvE. That's how you have to get the gear, and then you can possibly use some of your real money to try to enchant it. So keep that in mind. I'm going to let you make that decision on whether that is actually pay to win or not. Hopefully that gives you an idea of everything that's going on in this game and what you can expect if you want to try to check it out. Because there's all that gear given away for free, because there's the the event that's going on. That's really going to help you just kind of power up to level 51. And by the way, I didn't do on this current character I'm playing, I didn't get that gear until like level 40 because that's when the event started. And I had started playing a little bit before that. So I've gotten to level 51 very quickly, and I think you can too. And once you get to level 50, that's when the game really starts to become challenging and interesting. I've still died a bunch of times to different things. The world is still pretty dangerous. The gear is cool in a way because, like I said, they haven't actually nerfed the game over the years. So the open world content is still very challenging. It requires gear. So if they give you the gear, then you can just kind of focus on leveling up, doing all the quests, and getting to a high level, rather than having to worry about how do I go out and get the gear that I need to actually do the quests, because the game is fairly difficult. So weigh that, keep that in mind. Now's the time to get into it. If you get up to a high level, the next patch, the next expansion is coming out next month here in North America, and that will give a lot of fresh content. Old content doesn't quite go out of date in the way it does with other MMOs, so the old content is still pretty relevant in a lot of circumstances and pretty necessary. If we didn't have this like free gear situation going on, you would still have to do all of the old content to get the gear just to do the next content. That's kind of the way that the game is set up, and I appreciate that. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. That's Aion, Korean, originally MMO, available in Europe and North America. It's free to play. You're aware of the monetization strategy. You can make that decisions for it. I'm playing it. I'm going to try to get up to max level and really experience the game a little bit with my brother-in-law, and maybe I'll give another report then. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And my book is out, Muramasa Blood Drinker. I will have a link down below, or maybe like around me somewhere. That's a good book. I really like it. It's about samurai. So if that interests you, please check it out, and please give me a read and a review if you happen to have something interesting to say to help other people decide if that's a book for them. I appreciate it as always, and I'll see you next time.